All right, in 2006, I was kind of trying to get some new work, some new creative work in my portfolio, and I came up with half a dozen images that I really wanted to pull off, and at the top of the list was this shot of a bodybuilder in a tunnel. And I wanted water, I wanted there to be a grate, like at street level, and I wanted water to be dripping through that grate onto this bodybuilder. And I wanted the bodybuilder to be crouched down, kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger was in The Terminator, and I wanted him to be black, because I wanted that contrast. And I happened to know a black bodybuilder at the gym, and just this cool guy, and I thought, it's going to be great. So Kenny was excited about the idea when I told him, and I started doing my research, and first thing I had to do was find a tunnel, and I called the city of Colorado Springs to ask them, if they had a tunnel like that, and spoke to a lady named Mary Scott, who was very nice, and she was funny. She said, I don't think Colorado Springs has anything quite that size. We don't have that need for water runoff like you do in like Philadelphia or Pennsylvania or something. I'm like, well, I'm not going to Pennsylvania for this, so I'll just keep looking. It was funny. So I ultimately remembered that there was a tunnel that ran under Union Boulevard over by Austin Bluffs that I used to mountain bike through. So I drove over there one day, and sure enough, it was great. It was a beautiful place, and it was perfect. It was urban, and it was kind of grungy, and had graffiti, and there was broken glass and crap all over the place. It was perfect. It was just what I was looking for. And so I took Angela Cruz over there with me, and I took some snapshots of her in the pose, and just to see, sizing and what I'm going to need to do for lighting. And I could see right away with the angle and the pose that I chose that the grate that I wanted wasn't visible, because there was like this ceiling to the tunnel, and then there was like a hole up to the street level, and there was like a 3 or 4 foot cavity, and the grate was up here, not down here. So I needed a grate on the bottom of that opening. So I knew I was going to have to make a grate, which was okay, and we do that. And so we proceeded with that, and we started doing our designs, and I hired my friend Todd to help me make the grate, and we bought vinyl, and we got some PVC, and we put all that together, and he welded all that together with car epoxy, painted it gray for me. It looks beautiful. And unfortunately, about 2 weeks before the shoot, my model, Kenny, got cold feet, and he backed out on me. So I went 180 degrees, and I said, okay, instead of this being this hard shot, I'm going to make it a contrast between hard and soft. And I have this friend, Devil Lachlan, and her daughter, Riona, is just this amazing dancer, phenomenal dancer. And so I called and said, hey, can we do a photo of Riona in the tunnel? And sure enough, they brought Riona over, and we did a test shoot in the tunnel, and we sized everything, and it looked beautiful. We knew we were onto something. So, I wanted her to see the tunnel so she could see what poses to hit and everything. And she came up with this crazy spider pose, and just beautiful. So the only thing we needed to do during the actual shoot was to bring a little stool for her to sit on, because she'd hit this spider pose, and then she'd sit down, and then she'd stand up, hit the pose, sit down. She couldn't hold that for more than 4 or 5 seconds. And then we'd installed the grate, but before we installed that grate, I had to put a focusable spotlight up there, and then the cord was coming out of the side of that, out of the corner of that, so we had to Photoshop the cord and that little stool out of there. And that, other than that, that's a authentic photograph. So very, very happy with it. It's exactly what I envisioned, that style of photograph, and I like the contrast between the urban grunge and the beautiful fluid dancer.